Yeah, what's good, everybody? What's good, man? What's good? We back, baby. We back. Happy Monday, y'all. Happy Monday, everybody. Man, how's everybody doing? Everybody's good. Everybody's good. I hope everyone is having a great Monday so far. A great start to their week. Thank you guys for joining me, man. Thank y'all for coming and hanging out with me. And welcome to another episode of the Jayson Estrera Show, where we talk about basketball, sports, and any topic that comes our way as accurate as possible. Now, we haven't been here for a good week. You know, I was live for like fucking 2 weeks, 3 weeks straight almost. I was just chilling a little bit. Yeah, just took a little bit of time. We actually, bro, let me tell you, we got stuck on a show this weekend, man. If y'all have not seen it, man, my girlfriend and I, we've been talking about it all weekend. If y'all haven't seen it, go watch The Mole on Netflix. It was fantastic. The production was great. The characters were great. Second season had a part in it that I didn't like at all. I'm not even gonna say that I didn't love. I didn't like it at all. I wish it went without it because I thought the season was great. But it's a great show. The idea of it is, I think there's like 10 or 12 of them in the game show, and there's one mole who tries to sabotage everything. So they play games to try to increase the pot that one winner can get, and the way that you get people out isn't by voting, isn't by how well you do in the games. It's by answering a questionnaire, a quiz, to see how well you know the mole. So you have to guess the mole. You have to find out where the things about them, information about them. It's great. And the mole is over here trying to sabotage the missions, trying to get money out of the pot. So we're just sitting there trying to figure it out. It's awesome. I really suggest y'all go check it out because it's fun to watch. It's super fun to watch. But today, you know, we were gone for, you know, like I said, a week, and I was expecting for some news to break, something to happen. The WNBA is back, but the talk of even the last couple days is still the Olympics. We just can't get away with it. We just can't get away from it. Another day, another no allows quote is on the internet. So we're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be discussing whether bad referees has equaled more views. So, as always, it's your host, your boy, Jayson Estrera. And let's get started, man. Let's get started. So, for this very first topic, like I said, we're going to be talking about no allows quite a bit. If you guys don't remember, he had said this originally. Let's see. Bam.
And they have world champion on their head. You know, the thing that hurts me the most is that I have to watch the NBA finals and they have world champion on their head. World champion of what? The United States? Don't get me wrong. I love the U.S. at times. But that ain't the world. That is not the world. We are the world. We have almost every country out here fighting, thriving, putting on their flag to show that they are represented. There ain't no flags in the NBA.
First of all, that's wrong. That's wrong. Now let's talk about he was also on the nightcap.
Recognized me, own country, unlike these other countries that celebrate. But did anybody decide to ask what was the question that was asked to me? The question that was asked to me is, how do you feel knowing that when you go back to your own country, unlike these other countries that celebrate their athletes on such a humongous stage, when Toboho won, his gold medal, he went back to a stadium filled with 30,000 people celebrating.
Yes.
Right. So he talked about. All right. Let's continue what he said.
When I showed up back home on my flight, of course, some people recognized me, and I'm very thankful for that. But there was no 30,000 people. There was no limo driver ready to take me home. There was no bus waiting. If I had my mom, I had my pops, and they were ready to take me home, and I was ready to go to bed. But there was none of that. There was none of that. But the difference, I can understand the difference because we have a different way in America of a world champion to people who weren't facing the world. That's where I drew the line and said that's hurtful because you already have those, but you're giving the title to people who aren't doing that. Nothing wrong with being a national.
But let me ask you this:
they are great champions.
Jokic, the best players in the world,
have the title.
Oh, there's this part.
Is Nikola Jokic one of the best players in the world?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know who that is.
Fucking idiot.
Yeah, okay. What's the question? Are they good? They're great. They're great players.
What you're gonna run into, Noah, is that Botswana doesn't have a whole lot of athletes to celebrate, as opposed to Americans. And some of the MLBs have Hamilton show up.
All right, we ain't gotta go all over all that whole shit. But here is Noah Lyles again, self-sabotaging. He's self-sabotaging. He crashing out right in front of our eyes. He crashing out, as the kids would say. And for me, it's not about what he said. I believe the reason for a lot of this is because of the way that he said it. You understand what I'm saying? The way he said world champions, like he was so flabbergasted that they would refer to themselves as that, right? The tone.
I have to watch the NBA finals.
He said it hurts him. And then he has to watch the NBA finals. First of all, you proved that you're not watching the NBA finals. Because if that was last summer, if this interview was last summer, that would have been Nikola Jokic. But you claim you don't know who the fuck that is.
And they have world champion on their head. World champion of what?
See? It's that. It's that right there. Right? I got taught I've been getting told for damn near my whole life. Because I'm not great at it. It's not what you say. It's how you say it. I've been saying this from the beginning. On a technicality, he's correct. Even with the best players from around the world coming into the NBA, even though it has the greatest talent and USA gets the gold and then they go to the NBA and those guys all play against each other, even with all of those things taken into account, the NBA stands for the National Basketball Association. It's not the IBA, it's not the International Basketball Association or the WBA, the World Basketball Association. It is the National Basketball Association. That nation being the United States of America. On a technicality, Noah Lyles is correct. But it's the way that it's his face, it's the tone. World champion of what, he says. And that's what gets a lot of people pissed off. You're self-sabotaging. Do you understand, Mr. Noah Lyles, that you have done a phenomenal thing? You brought gold home to your home country, the United States of America. You are at the top of the top of athletes in your sport. But instead of using your platform to bring light to your sport, which is what you say you want to do. I'm not familiar with the athlete he named, but he said that the gentleman had gone back to 30,000 people in the stadium. And you were upset. You said you were thankful, but clearly you were upset that only a couple people greeted you. Let me tell you another tidbit, Mr. No Lyles. Comparisons are the thief of joy. If you're going to consistently compare yourself to this person, that person, you're never going to be happy with what you do. You're never going to appreciate how great you are. You're never going to say with your chest that you're a world champion. You know why? Because deep down you're going to be thinking, yeah, but this guy get more money than me and he not no world champion. Oh, but this guy do this, da 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 da. You've made this whole run. You should be coming back here talking about all of your amazing training, your teammates, track and field, what it means, how it could improve it, the Olympics being in LA. You could be doing all of these things, but you're still talking about NBA players and why you don't believe that they're world champions. It sounds like to me that you're doing a disservice to your own sport. It sounds like to me that instead of befriending these people, not so you could get ahead in life, not so you could promote yourself, but to actually get to know them, and maybe somebody hits you up, hey, I got this, we could do this. Hey, I think we should do no, da da da. We should do no on this commercial. Or maybe you approach them with that because you have an idea, because you guys have a relationship. But no. Instead of you and Tyreek Hill actually racing and combining these two worlds to create awareness, to create this thing, it's combatant. You know what's going to happen when you do win? It's going to be more it's going to be more conflict. Instead of, oh, we're friends actually. Oh, I'm glad we did this content together. I appreciate you. Da 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 da. I think you're a great athlete. You think I'm a great athlete, and you leave it at that. But no. Everything you're doing is framed in conflict. And guess what happens when conflict is all around? The fucking city burns. And that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing, Noah Lyles. You love your sport, yeah, but you're not talking about it right now. Yeah, you could say you could watch the whole interview. Let's not pretend like you don't know how this shit works. Yeah, you probably did have COVID. But now because people don't like you, now they look at you dancing and hopping around before you did the race and lying down after. Now it looks away. Sorry. That's how shit goes. I don't make the rules. Just how shit goes. He is crashing out right in front of our eyes. Nobody else is watching this shit. He don't give a fuck about himself right now. He don't. All he's doing is closing doors. All he's doing is closing doors. So with that being said, let's take a look at this this other part. Let's take a look right here.
A lot. It was going to be a lot, but it's an
I agree.
Very low that I would show up as for sure. In negotiations,
Bill, that while you were negotiating your contract with Adidas, they offered you an invite to a shoe release for Anthony Edwards, and I think everybody's read the quote. Can you provide context for what transpired? I mean, we don't need to get into negotiations, but what transpired is what's being reported. How accurate is that?
So what was going on at the time? I was in negotiations for over a year with Adidas to get the contract. Them offering me, to go to Ants for shoe release had nothing to do with the contract. They just thought it would be cool that I would show up as one of their Adidas athletes. Unfortunately, they asked for it very late. They asked for it at probably about 2 weeks in advance, and I was already scheduled to walk in a Hugo Boss show in Milan, which was a day and a half before his shoe release. So at first we were trying to figure out ways that we can get there, and it was like, this isn't good. This isn't gonna work. There's no way that I'd be able to walk and then get on the flight and have energy enough to be able to go to this event, because it wasn't just a shoe release. They were also going to, have us go to a little baby concert, and we were going to be just signing autographs. It was going to be a lot. And I was already drained from, flying over, already doing the fashion shows, doing the walks, going to other events. I was already drained. I'm like, there's no way that I'd be able to physically do this.
So, it makes sense to me why he couldn't show up, right? That makes sense, right? He's yet to address. Let's see.
I know. I agree with you, but you probably should have left it as that. It's that the other stuff where you get in trouble, where people is picking apart what you said, is because, like, hold on, I'm the world champ and he's getting this, and you have the wherewithal, the forward thinking to see that he's going to be special. And why can't you guys see that with me?
Now, I will say, being very vulnerable in this moment, I felt very unheard at that moment with Adidas. I felt very unheard. And and to give an example, people do a lot of things. What do you do when you feel unheard? You try to shout louder.
Yes.
And I felt that I've had many conversations trying to shout, and it hadn't gotten through.
Right.
And unfortunately, that was one of my moments where I felt I had to shout to even get them to look my way in that Time article.
I got you.
And because they asked me if I wanted to take it out, and I decided I was not going to, because I had to stand on my decision at that moment. I felt that I had to shout to get.
So, in both instances, in the NBA thing, he has an issue with the way the NBA players don't get to choose what the fucking thing has been called. They've been getting called world champions for forever. The media, that's what they do. This is an Adidas beef. But you target the athletes, which is what you are. The athletes that could potentially vouch for you. What part of that do you not understand? You see, even with his scheduling, right? And I'm not in his business. I'm not in his life. That ain't none of my business. But as an athlete, as someone that's negotiating a contract with Adidas at that time, you prioritized a fashion event over the brand that aligns with what you do every single day, which is train and be a track athlete. Now, maybe you really love fashion. Maybe you're really engulfed in that shit. Maybe you have, relationships and whatnot. Maybe they treat you like the way that they treat you. I believe he said it was in Milan. So you're not even in America, bro. Everything that you have said has gone against the United States. You prioritized a Milan event with Hugo Boss over an Adidas event. Now, I'm sure Adidas reps weren't happy about that. There's such a thing as showing face. I'm sure beyond the athletes that were there were executives there. The people that would be handling you were there. And you decided to go to a Hugo Boss thing. But it's our fault that we don't want to buy your sneakers. First and foremost, that was a sneaker event. If there was a time to get a quote or to get something about a sneaker, that would have been a great time. Don't you think? Because here's the reality, Mr. Noah Lyles. Regardless of what brand you sign with, whether it's Adidas, Nike, Under Armour, fucking Puma, what you want to do, Li-Ning, you want to do Anta, guess what, sir? At every single one of those brands, guess what the premier athlete is? Basketball players. So if this shit don't work out with Adidas and you try to go get some shit with Nike, or you're going to have a tough time collaborating and trying to get work done with the people that are going to push your sneaker. Because you said that's what you wanted, right? You wanted a sneaker, right? Not understanding the way supply and demand works. You can supply the shit. If there's no demand, no one's gonna fucking buy it, sir. You're definitely not making track shoes. What you're gonna do? A lifestyle sneaker? You for sure not doing a basketball sneaker. I could tell you that right now. So what the fuck are you gonna do? This is someone that just lacks awareness. I hate when motherfuckers say they're aware and then every time they get a chance to show you, they show that they lack awareness. You're not aware. You don't understand what's going on. Because if you did, you would have mended those relationships. It's not about kissing ass. It's about playing a role. And unfortunately for you, you didn't know what your role was. All the other Olympic athletes have known their roles. And guess what? Basketball players have supported every single one of them. Show up to their events. Show up to their meetings. They do commercials together. Guess who's not going to do that? Noah Lyles. And that's to his own fault. You deadass hating. You hating. I don't know if an NBA player stole your girl at some point. They didn't sign your autograph. I don't know what happened. Something had to have happened along the way because there's just no way. There's no way that you could just walk and do this like nothing's happening and feel so like he's the victim. Like I said, you could have gone here and you could have been parading your gold medal. Talking about how great you were with COVID, that you're the third fastest man in the world with a respiratory sickness. You could have talked to all these things. You still got your gold, but instead, you're talking against the very athletes that could be helping push your career forward. I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. I don't understand it. But we are moving on. Man. We are moving the fuck on from that shit. Because what the fuck, man? Wow. Now, To some more I don't know what you would call this. To some more, I guess some more banter, I guess you would call it maybe. There's been a back and forth between Dennis Schroeder and Kevin Durant because Dennis Schroeder has said that the European game is all about high IQ and great coaching and whatnot. And this is...
Check out the video.
And then when Team USA had won gold, Kevin Durant had posted this saying entertainment and IQ. Excuse me. Schroeder was saying that the NBA is just entertainment.
And they won, and Kevin Durant tweet high IQ and entertainment. For me, that's just being weak. Like you, that type of a star, and you have to say something.
I don't know if all that music was playing. I don't know. I'm not fucking with that. But I'm not fucking with that, bro. See if I can fucking find this right here.
And Kevin Durant.
No, we're not doing that. Here. Here. Let's do this. I don't want the fucking music playing in the background. They won, and KD tweet high IQ and entertainment. That's just being weak. You are the type of star, and have to say something to a person like me tells me how weak he is as a person. It is what it is. Not everybody is strong. Not everybody is in a good place. And this was the original where this all stems from. Dennis Schroeder said, European basketball is no entertainment. It's straight IQ basketball, straight coaching. And Kevin Durant says entertainment and IQ. Now, Dennis Schroeder did say something in there that was very true, and that European basketball is no entertainment because, yeah, we are not watching that shit. Sorry, bro. We are not watching that shit. It is what it is. Now, he is absolutely right that before we even get to that, I think a part of this stems from, and I've spoken about this before, the Kevin Durant narrative, right? He left OKC to go join the Warriors. That's weak, blah, 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 blah. I guess you could feel that way about it. But Kevin Durant has to be one of the smartest players in the NBA. I mean, I don't know who wouldn't agree with that. The way he gets shots with efficiency, he's not using a lot of bounces. Yeah, you could say he has height and all this stuff, and I know that those are all advantages to him. But the way he plays the game with such precise movements, getting to the right spots, he makes the right passes, he makes the right reads. He's an incredibly smart basketball player. And even beyond all of those things, he understands time and possession, when to go off. He's a very calculated basketball player. So I understand why Kevin Durant would get tight. Right? We showed you guys that not only are we entertaining, but this is high IQ basketball. It's great basketball. And I keep harping on it. The fact that these guys can come together in such a short period of time and try to learn each other as much as they can and beat everyone else, that's not high IQ. These guys just picked the basketball up together just a couple weeks ago and they win gold against teams that have been playing together summer after summer. It don't make sense. And I like Dennis Schroeder a lot. Obviously, I think he's trying to bring light to European basketball, to international basketball, where he thrives. Right? On his team, he gets the touches, he gets to dictate a lot of the offense. And, in spots, I think Dennis Schroeder is really great in the NBA. superb. Also a high IQ basketball player. But to say that the NBA is not that, as if he's not a part of that group, is just weird to me. Now, the other thing is, was Dennis Schroeder's original statement right? Is what the fuck? Is the NBA, let's see what the is European basketball straight IQ, straight coaching, as opposed to the NBA, right? That the NBA is more entertainment and whatnot. That can't be true. When you look historically, because it's very known that this is the greatest league in the NBA. These are the greatest basketball players in the entire world, right? The highest IQ basketball players are all from the NBA. LeBron, Kobe, Jason Kidd, Chris Paul. I mean, the list just goes on and on. They're all NBA players, American players at that. I get, Luka's up there, Jokic, but is anyone taking that from a LeBron, a Magic Johnson? I mean, the list goes on and on. So there's one, right? The other part is, what international coach is in the NBA right now that's dominating as a coach? Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, because there isn't one. All the best coaches are NBA coaches, American coaches. I'm not saying all of them are great, but the best ones are in the NBA. So I don't understand this statement at all. Oh, European basketball is all IQ and all high coaching. Well, guess what? Mike D'Antoni, which is one of the people who's a coach in the NBA, former coach in the NBA, that gets a lot of credit for the evolution of the game. 7 seconds or less offense with the Phoenix Suns. High octane offense. They push the ball. A lot of scoring. A lot of shooting. Right? Excuse me. If anyone watched the game back then, Mike D'Antoni. That's what he did as a coach. Guess what? Mike D'Antoni, his coaching style was all offense, zero defense. Zero defense. Which is exactly what we see from a lot of these European players coming in. All offense, pretty much no defense. All the Bogdanoviches. Jokic wasn't very good until everybody started calling him out. Outside of that, we have a Rudy Gobert before that. That was all defense and no offense. And a Wembanyama, who's obviously an alien. But when we take the group, right? Luka Doncic don't play no defense. When we take the group of these international European players, it's all offense and no defense for the most part. Just like the coach that came over here. So no, this is not true. Yes, the NBA is entertainment. And it seems like every year it becomes more entertainment. But that doesn't mean that the players are not high IQ and that the coaches are not high IQ coaches and players. All three of those things are why the NBA is the NBA. You guys do get that, right? That the NBA is great because the players are amazing athletes. It's entertaining to watch. Oh, and by the way, they're also the best players and the smartest players with the smartest coaches. Do I think that things can improve in the NBA? Absolutely. Absolutely. Guess what? The best players are still there, though. The smartest player, they still develop. Do I think things can change? Obviously, yes. I just said it. But this notion that just take that Team USA team. All of them are not just stars on their team and the best players on their teams in the NBA. Most of them are at least high IQ players. Drew Holiday, high IQ, even for a role player. Super high IQ. Derek White, also, in my opinion, high IQ basketball player. Devin Booker, high IQ. That's before we get to Steph, Bron, and KD. Eric Spoelstra, probably the best coach in the NBA. Ty Lue's also a really great coach, in my opinion. Like, what are we talking about? Sorry, I left Steve Kerr out. He saw I left Steve Kerr ass out. But anyway, where is this one? Now, let's take a look at this. Victor Wembanyama on Kevin Durant after Olympic game. He's my youth icon. He's my favorite player. I made it clear that I wanted to learn from him and steal one or two of his secret techniques. This is just the interview. So, sorry. Are we in the mentorship era of Kevin Durant's career? Is he really an old head like that now, where now all of these players are coming to him for advice? And I think it's fucking hilarious. Because for all the hate that a lot of these, let's call them non-basketball or casual fans, hate on Kevin Durant for all of the ancillary stuff that's outside of the game, all the hoopers and all of these fans' favorite players, their favorite player is Kevin Durant. Anthony Edwards, now Wemby. Chet is also talked about, really idolizing Kevin Durant. The list goes on and on. He's shown a different way to play at that size. Right? For the bigs that aren't so big and burly and muscular, that aren't super athletes that could jump out of the gym and are super strong, or they're not just big. Kevin Durant has shown them a different way to become a pro NBA player. And I think it's going to make a lot of people mad when a bunch of little baby Kevin Durants are walking around the NBA. Sorry with what you feel about him leaving OKC. Players love him. Hoopers love him. There's nothing to not like about his game. I cannot like some of the things that he's done in his career all I want. When you watch his game and how smooth he is and how he gets to, there's nothing to not like about it. Everybody loves offense. And to see him in this spot, kind of similar to how a lot of folks were reaching out to Kobe, how he reached out to Kobe, or people are reaching out to Melo. He is slowly in that phase now, and I think it's really cool to see because he can still hoop. He's still hooping, and players are coming and reaching out. That's the beautiful part of the game, right? A game that has given so much to Kevin Durant. I mean, obviously I don't know him, but I feel like for someone that's such a pure hooper, I would imagine that he thinks it's his responsibility to give back to the game and push it forward by giving out knowledge, by giving out jewels to these guys and gems, by training with them, by showing them little things, by giving them tips and tricks. It's how he gives back to his sport, to the sport that's given him so much. And I think that's beautiful. Like, as someone that loves the game of basketball, that's as pure as it gets. We've seen someone work so hard to try to master something. Kyrie talks all the time about, now being more so a master of his craft, but still trying to be a student, and in turn is helping other guys out, right? So people look at him as a master. He assumes that role when need be, and he gives back. It's the purest thing that you can see in this sport, right? In with all the bullshit, the contracts, the money, the game is rigged, who's popular, who's not popular, rules, referee. With all that outside shit out, when we just see hoopers being hoopers, right? I've gained all of this knowledge throughout my career and my life, training, practicing, trying to be the best, and giving that to the next generation. It's really cool to see, man. It's really cool to see, and it makes you wonder what Wemby is gonna look like, right? Because seeing him on this run, right, he was great, right? At his age, 19, 20 years old, the composure, being able to come up big in big moments, timing, like he does so much on the floor. To be able to get a one dribble pull up, to master that, to master a little hezzy pull jump shot. It's the simplicity of that that's going to make him so scary. Right? When everything isn't working, Kevin Durant has the one dribble pull up, similar to how Kobe did it, similar to how Jordan did it. Melo, some of our favorites, right? Kawhi Leonard, even. To be able to get to a spot, to know what to do, how to get there, and just rise up above people with confidence, especially someone at Wembanyama's size, that's scary. If he can add some of those things and also still be a big, it's scary. It really is scary to try to picture what Wemby can turn into, man. So I really look forward to it because the best players are in the NBA, and I think we are seeing the early stages of what could be one of the next greats in the game. So we'll see what happens with this, man. We'll see what happens. Now, in terms of stopping, right? No one can stop Kevin Durant. And for the most part, right, no one can stop LeBron James, right? Unless your name is Rich Paul, apparently. Rich Paul urged the Lakers and Warriors to scrap a potential LeBron trade to avoid backlash over him switching teams for a fourth time. So, yeah, LeBron don't get blocked a lot, but apparently Rich Paul can block his ass. So, a lot of people have been fantasizing this duo of LeBron and Steph, especially with the Olympics, right? Everyone saw what that looked like, and I've, in a way kind of visualized it too, in talking about it. And it would be great. It would be great. Obviously, at this point in his career, Rich Paul is prioritizing LeBron's legacy. And in a legacy that has so many accolades, that has so many accomplishments, so many great moments, Rich Paul was being a great friend and giving him some real shit. To say, let your career do its thing, right? Let it speak for itself. The people that don't think he's above Jordan aren't probably going to change it. And the people that do think he's above Jordan, they're going to think that. So that he has to just live with that. And the further we get away from the Michael Jordan era, I think the more it's going to tilt to LeBron's side. It's just how shit works. The memories of LeBron are going to be much fresher than these memories of Michael Jordan. It just is what it is, right? So, but you do got to wonder, could these guys have made a legitimate run, right? A legitimate run at an NBA title? I think they could have. I think they very well could have done it. But obviously that remains to be seen. And going into this year, some people have speculated Steph is gonna go join LeBron in LA or whatnot. I've been saying for a long time I thought Klay would join LeBron sooner, maybe like a couple years ago, maybe. But that obviously didn't happen. Their games, I think, just meshed very well. But kudos to Rich Paul, man. And kudos to LeBron for letting him do his job. Right? Like, letting him do his job for real. Taking his advice, taking his whatever you want to call it. Listening to his guy. As a friend, as an agent. It was just I thought that was cool on Rich Paul's part, man. So kudos to him. Now, in terms of, talking about people that have changed the game, I wanted to just talk a little bit about, sorry about that, two aspects of basketball that, in my opinion, have not evolved. And this thought came across while I was watching Jason Kidd highlights. I was watching... Boy, we should check out some actually. Let's see. Let's see some Jason Kidd passes, man. Could we get this any higher? No? Okay.
Chance for a three-point play as he lays it in, and Ginobili got it.
What a pass, dog.
New Jersey got the rebound and the easy field goal.
Here's Anthony against Martin. And Scalabrine knocked it away. Kidd feeds. Scalabrine behind the back.
The way you got it. 2-on-1. Gooch to Kidd. Back.
In the court, don't trust one another that the ball...
Nah, we need the...
Stop Kittle's right up on Houston, who lost it.
What a pass. Like, for all the things that I think have evolved in the game, right? The step backs, the fadeaways, the dribble, the layups. And I saw this watching Jason Kidd highlights, and I was also amazed by some of the passes LeBron made some phenomenal plays. But aside from Bron, maybe him, Chris Paul were some of the last guys that would really put on some passing displays, not getting assists, but to where it looks fancy. You're putting spin on the ball, touch on the ball, different bounces. That, for the most part, is something that has not evolved. Those players now are not doing the things that Jason Kidd was doing then. I think that's interesting. I don't know if it's a matter of it's not what people applaud, right? People applaud the three-point shot now even more so than the dunk. And this is kind of where this comes from. But yeah, the floater, there's so many things that have been added into the game. People aren't really, well, who the fuck tried to do the behind the back elbow pass? But no one has come up with something fresh, no weird spin on the ball, spin back. I just thought that maybe it would happen. Somebody do like a little yo-yo trick where you spin the ball back, so when it bounces right back. I feel like things could have been done by some of these guys because they are great athletes. The thing too is when it comes to passing, it requires a lot of anticipation, right? And we've talked about, obviously, the smartest players are still in the NBA, but it's not across the board. There's still dumbasses in there, I'm sure. The way there's probably dumbasses in every league, right? But gotta be connected, and it's reconnecting. Fuck. The hell? Okay, I think it's back. Okay, I think it's back. Bet. All right, and for me, the other thing is obviously the defense has not evolved very much. That's something that we've spoken about at length. Excuse me, but something I want to see people try some new shit. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I just want to try some new things. Maybe try big lineups, try like something. Just try something. Moving right along is, oh shit, we have this one. So obviously Zion Williamson's weight has been a topic for a long time, and speaking of things that are changing and evolving, clearly this motherfucker has been working and trying to evolve himself. So he looks unbelievable. Zion Williamson, and this is one of those things where players are training in the off season. This aspect that casual fans don't get. You're training 5, probably 6 days a week in the off season, trying to get ready for the NBA, right? Working on something, getting in shape, whatever the case may be. And we'll talk about his contract in a second. Casuals don't understand that players are in superb shape going into the year because they've been training and practicing so much, right? During the season, if a player is not going out of his way to train with their travel schedule, always flying in and out, look at the times that they leave games. They fly out that night, what time they land, what time they got to wake up. When you take all of these things into account, how would they train the same that they were training in the offseason? It's not possible. Right? There's rest, recovery. You got to prepare for games. Certain times you're not eating. Like, so much has to go into it, right? That's why they made such a big deal about how much LeBron spends. because he has to, right? And I think more players can learn from that and take you and use that. But the reality is not everyone does, and their schedules are just tough, right? I'm not crying for a fucking millionaire, but that's just the reality of their situation. And for a player like Zion, it's important for him to stay disciplined throughout the season, right? You know, he has to get up earlier than everybody else. He has to get extra workouts in. He has to get more cardio in because he just gets big. I don't think it's his fault necessarily. It's just his body. Everyone got a different body. His just gains a lot of weight very quickly. And it takes time to lose it, right? So for someone like him, it's just a matter of really dialing in that schedule. And obviously with the contracts and his contract not being guaranteed, having to hit a certain amount of games, I think the reality has set in that this is what his career is going to have to look like. His life has to change. You know, I think a lot of them probably got there and thought that they were good and everything was all gravy. Somebody would teach them, and come to find out, it's not like that. And I've said before that his talent has gotten him this far. Just not in shape, fat, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Gotten him to 24, 25, and 10 or whatever he's averaging. Imagine what he could turn into now. And I'm very, very, very excited to see what he could turn into. Because, wow. You know, obviously, I think he's strong for power forwards. I genuinely think he's strong for even power forwards and centers. Slimming down will reduce some stress on his joints. Let him be a little quicker. Maintain stamina for longer, you know, have better endurance. I think a lot can go well. A lot can go well. I think his offense will look smoother. I think a lot will go well. So we gotta look out for this dude, man. We gotta look out for what he transforms into, because holy shit. Now, what we saw with Zion, I think, is a very great sign. Because for the 2028 Olympics, he's going to have to be a key factor. I believe that Jayson Tatum is highly questionable. With how this went, I think players are going to have to convince him. It might have to take, it's going to take a lot to get Jayson Tatum to sign up for this experience again. He already has 2 gold medals. He feels like he's been disrespected. I don't give a fuck what you casual fans think. Every NBA player has said so. It's not a coincidence. So I think he's taken offense to what happened, as he should. So Jayson Tatum probably not in. Jaylen Brown, I don't even think they're going to call him. It's been a big fuck you to Jaylen Brown for a long time, and I don't think that's going to all of a sudden change in 4 years. They've been trying to tear down this Boston Celtics thing, what it feels like all summer already. You could call it theories, you could call it whatever. It's been happening. And so I think those two are, I don't even think they're a factor. And when you look at the bigs from these other teams, right? Like Wemby, Rudy, Risache, all the bigs that Greece is going to have. If Embiid is on Cameroon, Giannis, right? – Jokic, obviously. Team USA has to try to match those bigs. You're looking at maybe a Anthony Davis, maybe a Bam, who's pretty undersized in my opinion at 6'9". You're going to need a Chet Holmgren to really develop and fill out in his size and his game. And you're going to need Zion. Zion is the bully. He could bully all of those guys. Zion is going to be such a massive factor in this, right? So I'm looking for Zion, Paolo Banchero, John Morant, Devin Booker. These are going to be the guys that I'm looking at in 4 years to be the leaders of this team. Anthony Edwards. Wow. It would be great if Tatum could be there because I think he would fill out that little roster in terms of size very well. You can have like a... How old is Anthony Davis? Bro's 31 already. The motherfucker gonna be 35. Like, we not depending on Anthony Davis in 4 years. Like, what are we doing? So that's actually very undersized. You're looking at a Bam, a Zion with either a Tatum, a Banchero, with a Anthony Edwards, and a Ja Morant. Then you'll have like Devin Booker coming off of the bench, Halliburton, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, I do think Zion is going to be a massive part of what they do moving forward. He has to be. Because what he lacks in size, right, height, he makes up for with physical brute strength, physicality, and he plays with a violence. Like the way he attacks the rim, the way he it disrupts defenses, right? And him playing with that force, I think, can offset the size disadvantage that they're going to see a little bit. So I would love to see how that looks like, man. I would love to see how that looks like moving forward. Now, for the last topic that we have, this is going to be, we're going to be looking a little bit ahead to the rest of the WNBA season. And this was the Caitlin Clark quote from yesterday or the game before.
Basically being mad at myself because I missed the three and then I went and hit the backboard. And he told me it was disrespectful to the game of basketball. So, I don't know. It reminded me of the technical that I got in college where I said, damn it, where it's like a personal frustration. Had nothing to do with my team. Had nothing to do with their reffing. Had nothing to do with other team. It was just because I'm a competitor. And I felt like I should have been making more shots. So, but I think he fired me up to continue to play a lot harder. I thought we got a lot better after he did that. So, I want to thank him for that. But overall, I thought once we got to that media timeout around 5 minutes in the third quarter, I thought we all kind of just took a breath. It was a little chaos there for 2.5 minutes, and I think I could have done a better job of kind of regaining my cool, but that's like the fire and passion that just gets me going. It's just finding a way to channel that and use that, and I thought I did a really good job of that at the end of the third and the fourth quarter. I got a technical for...
So, Caitlin Clark was talking about basically bad refereeing, a motherfucker that tried to give her some life shit on some, I was just frustrated, I wasn't making shots. I think the tough reality that we have to deal with moving forward is that bad referees are equaling to more views. And here's why. Ever since the Tom Donaghy scandal with the NBA, which put the integrity of the game in question, and I know that there were some years there where it was in a little bit of limbo, but for the most part, ever since that time, the game has gotten more and more and more and more popular. And it feels like every year the referees get worse and worse and worse. We complain about them year in and year out. Every year. We just saw at the Olympics on one of the biggest stages in front of the whole world. Terrible refereeing. It was awful. They were making up rules on the fucking fly. And the viewership was still up. I think we have to admit this. The bad referees create clips on their own, which creates more impressions, videos, click-throughs, views. It adds to all the analytics that the NBA looks at when at the very end of the year, when they're in their meetings talking about how successful the year was. It's a part of the clip farming at this point. Every single time there's a bad referee job, what happens? It's all over the internet. Everyone's talking about it. It's on all the comments. It's on the TV shows, the talk shows, the podcasts. It's everywhere. From one moment. Don't even have anything to do with the players. And we keep saying, oh, when are they going to get better? What? And they're just not getting better. Which tells you what? That the NBA likes what the fuck they're doing. Because here's the thing, right? You don't have to believe this. But a referee with their whistle, to an extent, can dictate the game, can stop a player from reaching certain things, can stop a team from reaching certain things. Whether it's, let's get some guys in foul trouble, he's not playing. Let's get the other team on the foul line. Let's not blow our whistle so these guys get frustrated and there are no calls. And it's just, there's so many ways they can impact the game. Call it rigged. That if the NBA wants something to go a certain way, they can influence it. I don't think that they can completely change the outcome, but they can influence it. And on top of that, they generate millions on views, which other channels, other podcasts, other shows also use to get millions of views. It's a part of the business model at this point. And what I was speaking about earlier, this is one of the elements that really gives this facade that the NBA is entertainment. Because this doesn't have anything to do with the players. The players don't control this part of the game. They have to work in spite of this, right? And I think that for the WNBA, it's going to be like this moving forward. Everyone has had to adjust to it, and everyone's going to keep on adjusting to it. What's been some of the most viewed things from Caitlin Clark this season? The threes and the good games are one thing, but when she's getting pushed, the flagrant fouls, those are the things that generate millions of views. So unfortunately, it's here to stay. It's a part of the game. It is what it is. We just gotta watch it. We gotta call it like it is. It'll never stop. And I think that they have made it, they being the NBA and even the WNBA now, have made it a part of their business model, because unfortunately it helps the clip farming. It generates so many impressions and clicks for them. And so they're going to continue doing it. So the bad refereeing is not going anywhere, y'all. It's not going anywhere. But I am going somewhere because I'm getting off now. But as always, thank you guys for hanging out with me. I really, really appreciate it. Y'all are awesome. Thank you guys as always. We're gonna take this shit to the fucking sun. I don't know if we gotta stop saying that. We're gonna take this shit to Mars. I don't know, but please like, comment, subscribe, all that good shit, because it really helps the channel out. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I'll be back tomorrow. Lord knows what we're gonna be talking about, but we'll figure it out. But I will be back tomorrow. Again, thank you guys for joining me. You guys could have been anywhere on the internet, but y'all were here with me, and I really appreciate that. So thank you guys. I'll see y'all tomorrow, man. Peace, 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 peace. Have a great rest of your day. Later, y'all. Later.